This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
Man, they said that we was the underdogs. They ain't never been that.
Georgia always back to back. Man, get it back in front. Come on, Ricky.
Yeah, broke that line. I support it. Satisfied. I support it. Yeah, I support up. Put up. Yeah, I just pulled up. Before it's time I sold up. Before like that, it's over. I'm crazy up, I pull up. Let's go, let's turn up. Yeah, everything I'm doing is a better than you. Everything I'm doing is a better than you. I'm on the charts, I'm going higher than you. I'm on this plane, I'm flying higher than you. I just signed a deal, more money than you. I just get it higher, I'm more lucky than you. What you said? I don't know no time to hear you, what you said? We be giving up, we don't got no respect. Okay, that's cool, I'm pulling up and talk, that's what I said. I'm pulling up and talk, that's what I said. Yeah, ready, brand new diamonds, yeah, they new again. I just walked in with the fire, sitting inside my bed.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to a very special edition of the Mid-Dell Sports Report. I'm Jordan Ray, and we're very happy to be with you here. First, of course, we want to recognize, as always, Buffalo Wild Wings here at 5500 Tinker Diagonal in Dell City. And, of course, football season is ending in Oklahoma for high school. College is transitioning to the bowl season. This is a great place to go and watch some of the college football bowl games. The NFL, of course, will start having Saturday games. And so you'll a lot of different viewing options there if you don't have that particular internet streaming package at your house. And then, of course, basketball, and more basketball. If you came here last night, you would have seen OU Hoops dominate Providence in men's basketball. They're undefeated. Can't wait to see what they do. Of course, tonight we'll have the Thunder game on here. And then at some point, you definitely want to watch the Oklahoma State men's basketball team. And, of course, their McDonald's All-American from Dell City, Brandon Garrison. So a lot to look forward to at Buffalo Wild Wings. And, of course, they have lots and lots of TVs and lots of great options when it comes to Wild Wings and, of course, hamburgers, fries as well. Buffalo Wild Wings, your place to go watch the big game. And the 9 metro locations as well in the Oklahoma City area. We want to once again thank Rakita Kearney and Keyline Productions, creating your custom needs. Some of the services they provide are custom merchandise, custom logos, flyers, and website design. Their website is www.keylineproductions.com. All right, let's get right to it. This is a celebration as Carl Albert football has won another state title in 5A football. The players and coaches are just coming in right now, but we already have Coach Mike Dunn with us, so we're going to go and get things started. Coach Dunn, congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll give you the floor here. You beat Dell City, undefeated, very tough team. They're by 21 points. So a lot to be proud of just for that game itself, but then, of course, for the season. So anything you want to say about the game and then the season right now, just right off the bat?
Yeah. So just starting with the season, spectacular year. Really fun year. This group of kids was awesome. You know, we knew going into this year that we had a chance to be pretty good, but this senior class, you know, the contributions that they made to this program is really pretty special. You know, three out of their 4 years, they won state championships. every week, getting people's best shot and having to raise the standard every single week, which is hard to do at Carl Albert. You know, it's kind of a blessing and a curse, but there's only one way to go from a good team to a great team, and those guys, they know that. You know, we don't have to say that to them a whole lot. They know what the expectation is, and they raise their game every single week, and felt like we did that. You know, we were playing our best football in those last 3 games. You know, we talk a lot about wanting to peak at the right time, and our guys most certainly did that, and it was led by that senior group, and we've got a lot of really good juniors that are coming back in this group, and the future is bright. But, you know, it starts year in, year out. You want to be able to rely on your seniors and your senior leadership, and this class of guys was very special. But, you know, as far as the state championship game goes, it was a great atmosphere. You know, I was most proud of a lot of things, but one of the things I thought was really cool was just both sides, the crowds, the communities. You know, I think both sides showed out. It was definitely a big win for Middale to have both Middale teams in the finals and kind of running through 5A there towards the end, and you know, you got to see the best 2 teams, I think, in 5A match up in that last game, which is always pretty cool. But you know, our kids, they know how to win. We really relied on our tradition. We really relied on the fact that we'd been there. These kids have been there a few times, and they weren't enamored by the moment. If you'd have been to our practices last week, you wouldn't have thought it was a state championship week. Our kids just go about their business. They're consistent. They work hard. Our coaches are the same way. You know, you wouldn't have saw any panic from our coaches. You wouldn't have seen, you know, us changing any things that we did. You know, we just kept to our plan and kept to our routine, and I'm really proud to be a part of a program that you've got really solid kids, really solid coaches. You've got solid parents, and Carl Albert High School, just the administration, it's just all unmatched. It's a special place to be, and just really proud to play a part in it. So it's a great year.
All right, very good. And one of the reasons we wanted to do this is we want to highlight your coaching staff and some more players. So we'll try to talk to all the players here. At some point we'll have to go to them. I can't get them all here at this table, but I'll try to go to them as best we can.
Okay.
But we'll go and get things started here. Let's talk about this wonderful coach you have to your right.
Yeah, so Coach John Herbert. Coach Herbert's been at Carl Albert since 2017 when Coach Corley took over as the head coach. He brought Coach Herbert in, Coach Madden and Coach Whiteley. He brought those guys in with him, and Coach Herbert's our defensive coordinator, and there's not a better one out there. I mean, week in, week out, he puts our kids in a position to be successful, and he works at it. He puts the time in, the game plans that he comes up with, and he leads his staff. You know, he's the head coach of the defense, and he most definitely does that. You know, there's not enough that I can say about him, but you know, I think if you asked any of our kids, they tell you that there's nobody that works harder at it, and they know that they're getting put in that position to go make plays, and you know, they have his back, he has their back. You know, you're not going to find a better guy for that job. So John Herbert, he's a special one.
All right, Coach Herbert, thank you for coming on here. You know, I think in 4 of the previous 5 games, you guys gave up a touchdown in your opening drive. And then against Del City, you didn't do that. You held the line. It seemed like your defense just, you know, raised their game a level. Well, what can you say about that opening couple of drives in general, but then also just the fact that I thought you guys limited their run game the whole time? So what can you say about your game plan and what worked for you guys?
Well, first I want to say thanks for having us here and getting the spotlight. Our players, which is the main thing, because you know, they made it happen Saturday. As far as you know, holding them, I think the Oklahoma had it at 26 rushes for 90 yards. I think that was the big thing, was that we limited their run game. Mm-hmm. You know, like you just said, very first drive of the game, we forced a punt, which they hadn't done all year. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, they had scored on the first drive of every game leading up to that game. So that was a big point of emphasis to our players. We wanted to get off the field on 3rd down. I think we did a pretty good job on 3rd down throughout the game. We changed some things up. You know, we played some more man coverage maybe than we had shown in the previous 13 games. But yeah, it was just a big challenge to our guys. Let's get off the field on third down. I think against McGinnis, I think they had 3 third downs and a fourth down conversion. So which led to about a 16-play drive, and they just really executed well. But we did a good job of getting off the field Saturday.
So what would you say to keeping it short and simple, or you can expound on it if you want? What was the key to containing Rodney Fields?
We just talked about we always say we're swarm. That's our defensive mentality, and we always talk about swarm the ball, and I think that tackling well was obviously going to be key, but we also had to take blocks on properly. Emerson here and AJ did a great job of eating up blocks inside, so that way our backers are free and they weren't getting worked up too. We had to take away vertical rush lanes because Rodney's so good at one cut and get vertical on you and split the middle of the field. So to me, it was really about making the ball bounce and taking away his vertical jump ups. And right off the bat, we did that, and I thought Marcus laid a pretty good hit on him right off the bat and kind of got us fired up. And that kind of led to some good stuff, and I think forcing them to maybe get away from a game plan maybe because of something that we were doing could have been beneficial as well,
All right, our first player here is Emerson Williams, starting nose guard. We've already had him on once, and it was great, but either one of you coaches, what can you say about Emerson, one of your seniors, so in the career he's had and the game he's had in the season and all that?
Well, just thinking about Emerson's time with us, he's been with us as all the way from ninth grade on up, and he's just a program guy, and he just continued to get better and better. He had some time early last year, and Coach Wilkerson, Jimmy Wilkerson, coaches the interior D-line with Coach Borum, and those guys worked really well with Emerson. He's a very coachable guy, and really just thinking about where he came from as a sophomore now, he really grew physically and mentally in the game, and he was a big part of the reason why we were able to do what we did this year.
All right. He mentioned grew physically. His off season was unbelievable, and I think all these guys that come up here probably say the same thing about. I know we could, but Emerson, he really turned it up in our off season from this past year, and it was something that you could tell he made a commitment early on in that process that was something he was going to do. But his weight room numbers went through the roof. Just had a great offseason, and he's a guy that definitely put the work in. And then, in the summertime, he continued that into the summer and had a great performance course. And he definitely put himself in a really good spot to go out and have the kind of year that he had as a senior. So we're really, really proud of him. And there was a college coach that was by today, and he asked about Emerson, and I said, Emerson, I would say, is definitely one of those. I wouldn't say a pleasant surprise because we saw it coming, but he definitely exceeded lots of expectations. He did a really, really good job this year.
All right, Emerson, congratulations.
Thank you.
What a way to play your last game. What was as a Carlsbad Titan, I should say. What did you enjoy most about the game itself? Playing Del City. I know afterwards was a lot of fun, but what did you enjoy about playing the game during the game?
Most thing I enjoyed about the thing is I would love getting tackles more and more as a nose guard. But, of course, as an interior lineman, I can't do it all the time. But knowing my job is holding up that line so then backers like Marcus and Easton Harless can get in there and get their tackle and get them down and then stop the rush, that was my favorite part. Just like knowing I wanted a tackle and I got one, I know for sure solo tackle, but just me and AJ holding up that interior line, not getting pushed back, that was my number one thing I liked about it.
So do you feel like that was definitely a big key then to how your team was able to, again, defend the run? And we'll talk about the pass part in a moment, but you guys were able to be physical as you needed inside?
Yes, sir.
All right. Someone's going to say something there? All right. Well, first, Emerson, how do you feel about your season? I mean, I talked to you a few weeks ago, but you played a lot of tough games since then.
I feel like what Coach said from last year, I grew a lot, and I was more mature about it this year because last year I wasn't fully mentally ready. This year I was physically and mentally ready at the same time. So most games were pretty decent. I had good stats, and everybody else had good stats too. As long as I wasn't getting pushed back, that was my number one job, to just keep the interior linemen right there so then we can get more tackles and stop their rushes.
And what was the biggest difference to you, again, starting out against the Eagles? Because your defense plays well throughout the game, but there was recent games where you didn't get off to a great start as a defense. Guthrie, Piedmont, El Reno, McGinnis. What was different this time around? You stopped in the first couple of drives.
I think what was different was the mentality. Mostly everybody knowing that it was a championship game, and we were all fired up from the day before and practices. We could practice that week. So I think just having everybody knowing their job and what to do was really the big mental key to the part and why we were just so hyped up and why we got the stop on them.
Coach Herbert, let's talk about some secondary play. You guys got a couple interceptions in the end zone. I guess part of that was you forced them in passing situations where you knew they were going to pass. So what was key to your success, especially dealing with, and we'll talk about him a couple times, maybe LaDainian Fields?
Yeah, obviously, he's a guy that you got to key on, and a lot of our coverages were based around, and the adjustments were made based on where he was at. That's pretty obvious. I mean, with a guy like that, you have to do that. The interceptions that Trinae got, one of them was in the end zone, as you said, earlier in the game than the later one. Trinae they tried to get us on a little, we call it the burn. They tried to pump the outside bubble to the back and then hit LaDainian over the field, and Trinae just got a great read on it, saw the quarterback looking vertically, and he jumped that. And we also had Tristan lined up on 9. Tristan Haynes lined up on 9 defending him, so we had kind of a top-bottom deal where Tristan was covering a man and Trinae had jumped the route. That was a big one. And then later on in the game that kind of ended it when he threw the ball in the end zone, and Trinae made a great play. Emerson actually had some pressure on the quarterback, and he threw it up back there, and we tipped it, and Trinae made a great play. But, a lot of guys really contributed there. Jakari Carter, who's a senior playing weak safety, he had an unbelievable game. I think he had 9 tackles from the weak safety position. Another reason why we were able to hold Rodney to fewer yards is because he was coming up from 7 or 8 yards deep and making quality tackles. We had a lot of guys there, and he was one of the main reasons for that as well. Is him. And then Caden Davis, really good Mike linebacker, and Easton Harless and Marcus James. Yep. Those 3 guys had really great games, and Brock Johnson, he's a senior defensive lineman that put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So if you can stop the run early and then you can bring pressure with 4 guys and make them throw it into coverage, and that's a pretty good deal.
I think that's awesome you matched up Tristan with LaDainian. That might be a matchup we see on national TV in 2 or 3 years. So
yeah, I was really proud of Tristan, the way he approached the week. Obviously week to week, if there's a matchup situation or a guy that we want to key on, we'll put a jersey on him. And this week was obviously no different. So since he was establishing some of our coverage checks, we put a number 9 jersey on a guy. And I told the story after the game, but there's a kid on our team named Byron Stubbs that he texted Coach Dunn at like 1 or 2 in the morning after we beat McGinnis. And he said, hey, I want that number 9 jersey. I want to be 9 all week, And I just thought that was a big deal that somebody cared enough to want to help the team in practice like that to text Coach Dunn in the middle of the night saying he wanted it, and that makes a big difference, because if you're going to make those adjustments and checks, Tristan, who's here, and Dukes and Trinae and everybody else in the secondary and the linebacker level, they got to know that. So we had a good week of practice and we prepared, and for all the checks and adjustments we made based off of 9, I don't think that we had one alignment bust all day, and I think that shows the focus that they had going into the game, and just the mentality that they had, a very mature mentality about the game too.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to go back a little bit, what was it like, coming to Carl Albert with the tradition they had, and then Mike Corley, of course, was a great defensive coordinator for several years. Yeah. And then so you're filling in for that position. Obviously, had to think very highly of you to want you to take that spot. Well,
coming up from where I was at, I was a head coach at a 4A school. Coach Corley got the job, and I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to come up here. And for the first year, Coach Corley continued to call the defense, and I coached linebackers. I learned a lot about the current structure that we were using, and we continued to do that for the next couple of years. He assigned me to call the defense from the 18 season moving forward, and then Coach Dunn kept me in that spot, and I take it as an honor. The hours and time that I put in, it's because I have a lot of respect for the program and the players, and I know that it's my job to have us ready. And we have a great staff. Coach Corley's still coaching secondary with safeties. Coach Farley's corners. I take care of linebackers, and then we have Jimmy Wilkerson, Tony Borum, Matt Vineyard, and Mike Evans are the D-line coaches. So we're really fortunate to have a really great group of coaches, and I feel blessed to have a group like that we can have a game plan and we can talk about it on Saturdays and Sundays, and then get out there and it's going to get done.
Emerson, as a senior now, what did it mean for you? What did these last 4 years of playing football at Carl Albert mean to you now that you can look back at it?
The last 4 years of football, that meant to me was just family, mostly family. Everybody doing their part, and the reason why everybody doing their part is to where we got to from 2020, 2022, and 2023 this year. So I feel like that was a big part. That was just really what just the past 4 years have meant to me. And I played football ever since the start of second grade, and just every team that I've been on, especially middle school, where we got our conference champs, and then high school where we got our state champs. It's always just been family and just doing your part, doing your thing. Treat the others the way you want to be treated, like a team and like a family.
Very good. Coach, anything to add before we move on to the next segment there?
No.
Okay.
If I'm sure we'll talk to some more of those defensive guys.
Yes,
but
we will.
Yeah, I mean, it just unbelievable effort by our defense to hold that offense to 14 points and get after it the way we did, and that's pretty unbelievable. It was a great day for our defense.
All right. So we want to thank Emerson, Coach, for coming on. And coming up, we got more coaches and players to come through here as we celebrate Carl Albert winning another state championship in football. You're watching the Middle Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and ask yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light, and you think all of a sudden their insurance company is going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
Call Rob and Will.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
All right, welcome back to the Midville Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network as we continue to celebrate Carl Albert winning another state championship in football. All right, Coach Dunn, who we got up now?
Yeah, so we've got Coach Clarence Madden, who's our offensive line coach. Coach Madden has been doing this thing for a while. I think this was year 45 for him, and he's Oklahoma Hall of Famer. And you go out here and you watch, and you would think it was year one. I mean, this guy coaches with passion, energy. All these guys here that are here today, I think they would probably tell you all the same things. He's the best I've ever been around. I've been on a lot of staffs while I was down in Texas, and then been on two really good ones here in Oklahoma. And he's the best I've ever been around. And I got to coach with Coach Rose for a little while, and Coach Rose is a good offensive line coach as well. But Coach Madden, he's a stud at what he does. He's, just all the things I said about Coach Herbert. He's a guy that he takes it personal. His position being successful is personal for him, and his guys being successful is personal for him. He wants to put his guys in a spot to have the kind of year that they did. And our offensive line, we were looking at our stats today and our end of the year, what they graded out. And these guys, it's Coach Madden and Coach Looney and Coach Copeland, they're machines when it comes to grading. They do it every single weekend, and they take it serious. And, and they grade our guys hard, and they'll tell you that. And they count pancakes, and I think, 4 of the offensive linemen, I want to say, were over 90% on the entire year as far as their grade goes. Tanner had 120 pancakes.
Good average.
Mr. Perkins had 68 pancakes. I want to say Collier had 62 pancakes. It's just a great year by all these guys. Cody Volker's here, and Cody had a great year and ended up grading out on the year in 83. And he was new here this year and had to learn the scheme and had an unbelievable year for us. And so, but Coach Madden is he's unbelievable at what he does. So Coach Clarence Madden, our offensive line coach.
All right, Coach Madden, thank you so much for coming on. I asked the defensive coordinator what was key to stopping Del City's running attack. So I'll ask you, what was the key for you guys running the ball? Again, I thought that's the main difference. You guys were able to run the ball effectively, and they were not. Well, what can you say about how your offensive line played when it came to that?
Yes, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Del City had a great defense this year. We worked awfully hard this past week on edge pressure, and they kind of came out with a little bit different look, more of a 4-2 look, and if they brought any pressure, which they didn't as much had they had all year long, they brought it in B gap or that sort of thing with the inside backers coming. So they were pretty base, and because of that, I think we were able to, run the plays that we felt like would work against that particular front. And we had a hard time doubling their nose early in the game, but as the game wore on, we got better, and we were able to get up to backer, and we ran a lot of dart, weak. We ran a lot of pin and pull to the tight end. We're not the biggest line, but we can move, and they're very intelligent, very mature, and they understand the schemes and the offense, and they give great effort. And so, it was hard. We had some chunk plays, but some of our 3-yard gains were just, kind of little wars in there with their D-line and linebackers. They had 2 great linebackers inside there. And, and our guys, we just grinded it out. They just kept with it, and eventually kind of got better and better throughout the game. Our pass pro was pretty decent also. And we were expecting blitz so much, but they really didn't bring, a lot of blitzes. Every once in a while they might bring, 5, but they usually brought, 6 all year long. And so that was something we didn't really expect. But I think our guys just were as physical as they could be. And, of course, Del City was as physical as they could be, and it was just a lot of gut punches there early in the game, and we just kept grinding it, and eventually we were able to move them a little better. And I just think our guys, just their desire and determination and their hard work paid off.
We're about to get to Tanner here in a second here, but Coach, was it a definitive part of the game plan to run Kevin as much as you did?
Yeah, absolutely. We knew that there was going to come a time, and we figured it was going to be, if we saw Del City, that we were definitely going to have to add that extra hat in there and get Xavier out in front of him and be able to run him. Kevin's a definite dual threat guy. He's got great legs, he's powerful, he's strong, and he's a big time weapon as far as that goes. He got banged up a little bit earlier in the year, and so you know, we tried to hold off as much as possible, but we always said, you know, and Kevin was all for it. You know, he was ready to go. Whenever we needed it, we were going to do it, you know. And so the other night, he ended up having 100 yards rushing. He had, I think, 103 on the night or on the day, and had a touchdown rushing there. And so it was definitely part of the game plan.
So when you hear that, like, okay, we're going to run Kevin more, what do you do with your offensive line? Anything different? Do you tell them anything different?
Not really. You know, like Coach said, it gives you another hat. You know, now we can block with X. You know, and now run him, so we get another lead blocker out of the deal. I'm all for that, you know, and that just gives us some extra help. And then, you know, we were able to run some outside zone option, and you know that helps us, and especially when he can tuck it and go, because they were lining up so wide in the second half. They adjusted and they got really wide with their techniques at defensive end, so we just took the duck, you know. Kevin did a great job of just taking the duck and getting what he could, and then, you know, we had some collisions on our lead play, our dart lead, you know, with their linebackers coming up and you know, our tackle pulling around. Cody had to trap him a few times, and then, you know, they hit us in the backfield with X, you know, with their linebacker on the lead, and then it was able to spring, you know, Kevin a little bit more, you know. So I was pleased with the way we were able to rush the ball, you know, and especially on such a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Tanner, congratulations again. I get to talk to you again after winning another state title.
Yeah, thank you.
So. By the way, I appreciate your dad was saying some nice things to me before the game, so tell him I said thank you again for that. Now, about your game, again, the offensive line more than did its job. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about your performance and the O-line's performance?
I think as a whole we all played really good. We all communicate really well, so that helps a bunch on the field. We ran a bunch of that dart, like Coach Madden was saying, and we usually ran it to my side, so I'd space out the 5-tech that was on me so Cody could get up in the hole easier. And then we put me over at right tight end sometimes and then run the ball behind me on that side. So I think just the scheme we had going into the game was really effective and worked well.
Did this season go for you better than you hoped?
I mean,
about the same.
I mean, the hopes are always a state championship, and
right.
It's more than the hopes. It's really just the expectations at that point when you get to Carl Albert. So I'd say it went how we expected it, but you know, you can't ask for anything better than undefeated in state championship.
And these other offensive linemen, they're all the starters are all seniors, and then Cody, I think, is not.
Cody is. There's four seniors, and Cody ended up starting. And Cody in the playoffs, I'd say he probably took 90% of the snaps in the 4 games. He probably took 90% of the snaps at right tackle. So.
Okay, very good. And Tanner, what I was going to ask you about that is how far back do you guys go? Like, did you play together in the seniors at least? Did you play together in middle school before then? I mean, how far back do you know these guys?
So I've played with Collier for a long time. We started playing together in 6th grade, I believe.
Okay.
And then I came over to Carl Albert my sophomore year, and that's when I started getting to know these other guys. But I'd known most of them my whole life. So
it's got to be nice, that familiarity. So one key play I want to ask about is when Del City made it 21-14, and you guys had a 3rd, and I think it was 6.
Yeah.
And you ran a screen play.
Yeah.
And I thought Kevin made one of his best plays because he was about to get leveled.
Yeah. No, that was unbelievable. We talked about that afterwards. That was so headsy by him, but also with Xavier, because that was not to Xavier. That play, Xavier was supposed to go block the guy that actually fired, you know, and he fired through the B gap. But we had that set up, and at halftime we talked about it, and we put that on last week. But it was actually a screen to Tristan, and Tristan was coming underneath, and we were supposed to get up to the Mike backer, but I think 40 was the Mike, but he came straight through the B gap, and he came right now. And so we weren't going to be able to get that probably off to Tristan. Well, Xavier, he ran out because we thought they'd be playing man over there and run with the wheel route. Well, when he noticed that there was nobody running with him and that backer shot and we had nobody for him, Xavier knew, you know, we work a lot on hots. And Kevin knows if I don't have protection back here, if my back is out, that's the hot route. Well, it really wasn't for Xavier, but Xavier and Kevin both, they just had that connection of hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get rid of the ball, and Xavier turned, and he got the ball to him and ended up being a play. It looked like something that we drew up, and it was a perfect play call, but it was one of those – it was a perfect execution by our guys. You know, our guys just did a great job of going and making a play, and honestly, you can maybe say that might have been the drive of the game because when they made it 21-14, at that point there was lots of momentum going in their direction, and the way that our guys went out and answered – the response was great, you know, and that was something I felt like all year long our kids responded. Challenges came, adversity came, they responded, and that was no different, that play and then that drive.
Yeah, you extended the drive because it was third down. That's the closest Del City came to getting to stop. You scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Didn't score in the third quarter, but that took place in the third quarter, led to the drive that kind of started to put the game away.
Right.
But, Tanner, you can talk about that player or maybe a couple others. Did you have a favorite big play on offense in that game?
Big play, I mean.
Or maybe not a big play, but a play that you took satisfaction in.
I mean, I always like when we score on our heavy set, whenever we get in the 2 tight ends and then bring an extra lineman on the field. We had a short touchdown on that. I think it was in the first half. So I remember that play pretty well, and that was probably one of my favorite plays of the game.
That heavy set's been pretty money for you the last 2 or 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty
good. Coach, do you still grade the offensive lineman after the last game of the season's over?
I do.
I like it.
You know, Coach Looney and Coach Copeland, you know, I'm blessed. I got, you know, great players, and I got great coaches that help me, and so we split it up. You know, Coach Copeland grades the tight ends, and Coach Looney grades the left side, and I grade the center and the right side, and we get together and go over it if we have any questions. And our kids take pride in it. You know, they, like Coach Dunn said, we had 4 guys average over 90%, and I always feel like we can win a football game if we grade 80. And so. And then Cody and Brock both graded 84 and 83 average, you know, and so for the year. So I kind of like to look at that stuff, and I like to look at pancakes. I mean, these guys we'll go over the film, and they'll tell me, Coach, I had a pancake, you know, on this play. And so we have a kangaroo court, and we go over it, and if it's pancake, we'll give it to them. And but Tanner blew it out of the water this year with 120 pancakes and grading over 90, and we had other guys, like Coach Dunn said, you know, grade in the 90s, and then they had 60-plus pancakes. So it's amazing. It's this year we had the most pancakes we've had, that, you know, as a team, you know. So we were real proud of that.
Absolutely. So when people look at Carl Albert next year, they might think, well, where's there an opening? Where's an opening? And the one thing they might think about is, well, they're going to have a lot of new offensive linemen. So just a quick question about that. How do you feel about rebuilding, or maybe reloading, whatever word you want to use, the offensive line for next year?
Well, the great thing about Carl Albert, we get in the playoffs, and we stay in the playoffs for 4 weeks. So that gives, like, freshmen 4 extra weeks of practice. Like, these guys, in their 4 years, have had 4 extra weeks of practice every year except for one. We had 3 weeks. So they've almost had an extra season of practice. And knowing what we do and how we do things and the drills and the meetings and all that. And I think that helps us. You know, it gets those younger kids ready for what it's going to be like. They understand, you know, the drills and things we're trying to accomplish and practice. And as they become good scout team players, they get these reps over and over again. And I think that's what helps Carl Albert, you know, year after year, getting these extra practices and reps.
All right, and Tanner, last time we talked, I should have asked you, then I don't know if you would have told me anything, but it was just a few days later you announced your commitment to go play college baseball. Where was it again?
Murray State.
Murray State. So that's congratulations on that. That's pretty big. So baseball is your future now. So real quick, I also remember you telling me in the preseason that you begin to do a cut for baseball season. Have you already started that, or are you going to be able to have some fun tonight?
I mean, so I haven't – I'll start my meal prep at the end of this week. I've already talked over it with my mom. So, but when I started football, I was in the 260s. I'm already down to the 230s over the season, and then I'm going to play baseball around 215.
A lot of running. Got him lean, Coach.
He's a machine.
Yeah.
He's a machine.
Good metabolism machine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so, Tanner, you're done. I mean, you're done with football. What did it mean to you as you look forward to baseball now? We look forward to covering some of your games in high school, but then off in college. So now that you're done with football, what did it mean to you to play football at Carl Albert this past 3 years?
I mean, that's kind of hard to put into words. It meant a lot to me, especially coming over as a sophomore and those seniors like taking me in and then showing me the way of the program, and then just kind of the family at Carl Albert's different than anywhere else like I had been and seen. So I just say it meant everything to me to be able to be a Titan and play for the program.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations. Coach, thank you very much for coming on. All right, we'll have more of a Carl Albert celebration coming up as they have once again defended a state title. It's what they do. They got 18 now. You're watching the Mid-Dale Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Do you want to start?
I want to start a car mechanic shop.
Let's say we go to Scissor Club.
Ready to go get some coffee?
Yeah, let's go. But it's a great space.
Yeah, and it's so close to downtown.
You want to go grab something to eat?
Let's do it.
What did we do last Wednesday or last Friday?
You got it.
Swinger, you want to do slack? I think she was from
1,
Rose State.
2, 3.
Woohoo!
Congratulations, Rose State college graduates.
All right, we are back with the Mid-Dale Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network celebrating Carl Albert football. Okay, so let's go over some things here. Carl Albert winning another state championship. So first of all, we're going to show you a sliver of a graphic. We get that on Ford Jacoby. That gives you the years that they've won state. So it ranges from 1989 to 2023. That's 18 in the span of, I count, 35 seasons. So that's over 50% of the years that they're competing in football, they win state. Okay, let's look at the next graphic. So this is the first one in 1989, and I want to mention this because I think it's interesting. This was Coach Al Miller, who was there for 17 years, and he wins a state title his last year at Carl Albert.
Yep.
And then he handed the reins over to, and we have
Coach Pebworth.
Jack Pebworth in 1993. So we want to show that there. By the way, 1989, Carl Albert was in 4A. Then 4A back then was the second biggest class in Oklahoma. And then by 93, they just started 6A, I think a couple years earlier. So Carl Albert moved up to 5A as it became the new second biggest district in the state. Real quick, Coach, did you ever get a chance to know Al Miller or Jack Pebworth?
I knew Coach Peb a little bit. When I was in high school, he would come around every once in a while, and we would see him, but didn't know him very well. But definitely knew of him, and, you know, being a guy that grew up in Carl Albert, you obviously knew who Al Miller and Jack Pebworth were. And then, you know, I got to coach or play under some coaches that coached with them. So Coach Rollins, he got to coach with both of them. You know, Coach Dozier, he coached with Coach Peb. So I got to hear a lot of the stories, but I didn't really know either one of them very well personally.
Yeah, Coach Pebworth was the head coach for Carl Albert for 4 years. He was assistant coach before that. He also won a state title and then retired.
Yep.
Well, we know who took over after that, and his first state title took place in '97. So let's see that real quick. That's Gary Rose's first state title at Carl Albert.
Yep.
And then he won 9 more after that, and he got to retire, winning a state title. And then Coach Corley has 4 as a head coach. It was announced that he retired, but he didn't really retire. He just took on a different job.
Right.
But what a run he had.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to look at the new tally here, Coach. This has Carl Albert at 18 state titles, 1 behind Ada at 19. Now, first I want to say Ada had a really good year in football. They lost 2 games to Poto, who's pretty good in 4A, and then one other 4A team who played the championship game. I'm sorry, the name escapes me at the moment, but they lost to Blanchard by 5. So, but let's say for a second, Ada does not win the state title next year in 4A. What would it mean to tie them at and get the 19th gold ball there?
Well, it would mean a lot just to win another state championship, more than anything. But that's pretty crazy when you look at that and you see the company that you're in with right there. Ada, the historic program that is Ada. You think about Oklahoma high school football. Ada is one of the first teams you think about with the McBrooms. And when I was in high school, we played Ada pretty much every year, and they were way good. I got to play against some really good teams from Ada. And then Jinx. I mean, again, you think of Oklahoma high school football, you think about Jinx. Clinton.
Alan Trimble. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan Trimble. You think about Clinton. You think about Mike Lee. And you think about all the state championships they've won. I mean, if you really go look at it and you really look at the history of things, Clinton. They've been in the state championship like 35 times. I mean, I think they've lost about as many as they've won. So they've just historic programs, and just getting to be up there with those guys. And then Morrison, small school, just being in the conversation with all those guys. When you're at Carl Albert, you don't really think about it like that, but just being in those conversations and it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
I think the craziest stat, if you're bringing up stats about Carl Albert, the one that I always think is that it's crazy to me is been in the game 19 times and won 18 of them. I mean, that's just unbelievable. I mean, when you've got a 90% winning rate in the state championship game, it's unheard of. It's just crazy it's worked out like that. I mean, it just, again, testament to these kids and the coaches that have gone before us and the people that built this program. I mean, you go back and those guys in '89, I know a lot of those players that played on the '89 team, and Big Dave Guy, the Davises, Garrett Davis and Tom Davis in '93, and there's just so many guys that had a big part of building this thing and the culture, and it's unbelievable to think that we're get to be a part of this history and the tradition, and it's very unique, very special, and it's something that we're obviously very proud of.
Yeah, they did celebrate the '93 team earlier this year, so they had the 30-year anniversary, and
yeah, that was way cool.
You'll be part of some anniversaries. Some point down the line.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, of course, Carl Albert passed Jinx. They were tied to a second, and, of course, Jinx has they made the state title game, but unfortunately Bixby is also a very dominant program. So watch out for Bixby being going up the list of state title teams, of course.
Yeah.
Was it any little bit of icing on the cake that you guys went undefeated for the first time in 5 years?
Yeah. I mean, it's never. I've told you before. It's never the goal. We never go into a season, and as long as I've been at Carl Albert, been a part of it, I've never heard anybody ever say anything about going undefeated at Carl Albert. And it's not something we talked about this year. We always feel like, with the way you work and prepare, you give yourselves a chance to win every game. And this year we felt really good about every game that we played in, but it's not something that we really, I guess it's funny to say it, but not strive to do. Our plan is always we want to make the playoffs, we want to go make the run, and we want to go win a state championship. And that's what we talk about. But yes, there's no doubt that it does put a cherry on the top that you can say that you went 14-0. I just talked about the 18 state championships, and it's only the third time that's ever happened in the history of Carl Albert. And all those championships, it's only happened 3 times. So these seniors and these kids that are here tonight, it's hard to make history at Carl Albert.
Yeah.
And these guys, made history. I know it's the third time, but it's way hard to do. And these guys, they got it done week in, week out, and played some big time games and had some big time challenges along the way. So it's definitely a cherry on the top.
So 2017, 2018, and now 2023. So Coach Rose didn't do that. That's interesting.
Coach Rose never
did everything else.
Yeah, Mike Corley. Mike Corley.
He did everything else, but not
4
that
years,
one.
4 state championships, 2 undefeated, and 52-2. So.
It may have been 3, but he had the guts to schedule Bixby, and of course that was a tough one. So that was their loss in 2020. All right, so here's another stat: 25. You know what I'm talking about, right?
25 is that district championships? I don't know.
That is your current win streak.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
Another number you don't want to talk about.
We don't keep up with a whole lot of stuff.
Okay.
So no,
I'm just warning you. You'll not hear about it in August next year.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sure we will.
All right. So yeah, Carl Albert has a 25-game win streak. We'll see if they they keep going. So looking forward a bit to next year. Who are some of the non-district games you have? I know Midwest City will obviously be one.
Right, Midwest City. We've got Lot Night. We kept the Lot Night game. That's been a good game. And Stillwater. Stillwater is the big one.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be a matchup I know everybody's going to really be counting on. So, yeah, we'll finish non-district with that one right there. So,
are you going to keep it at 3?
Right, yeah, right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Coach, let's go and show the couple pictures you wanted to post, Jacoby, right now. We got the trophy there, of course. That's the goal, and they got the goal.
Yeah.
And then the celebration part of it. So this is what Jacoby Brosty took the picture. He's proud of that. So
yeah.
And there's others we put online and stuff. Coach, we're not done. We're going to talk to some other players, but Coach, you want to put a bow on it? Your time here, you're going to have a chance to go enjoy yourself after this.
Well, again, I think I said it all earlier on, but it's very, very special. People see the tip of the iceberg at Carl Albert. They see the success, but what they don't get to see is the week in and week out and the day in, day out that goes on there. These kids, they grind it out every single day. Our kids, they put in the time not only on the field, but in the weight room, in the film room, in the meetings. We stay late on Mondays. We stay late on Tuesdays because our offense, we do cake on Mondays and we watch film on Tuesdays. Coach Herbert does cobbler and they do cheese dip in the playoffs. So these kids, they put the time in and they put the work in. And people don't get to see the December. Like we're going to take this week off and enjoy ourselves for a week. And then next week we're going back to work. We're going to max out. We get back from Christmas. Their cards are going to be – Coach Corley's going to have their cards ready, and they're going to go and get after it. And people don't get to see the December to the season, to the state championship. They don't get to see all that. They just see the end product, And I wish people could really see. I wish someone would document the time and the things that these guys do, And every one of these guys that are here right now, we've got some special kids here, and every one of them here, I can honestly say that each one of them put the work in. They put themselves in a spot to be successful with the way that they worked, And so when you can get individuals to do that as a team and you get a bunch of guys that commit to doing that, you're going to have a special product. And, this year was no different. These guys, they definitely put the work in. They put the time in. They did everything that they needed to do to have the year that they did. And I'm just very, very proud and humbled and honored to be the head coach here. I tell them all the time, I don't say it enough, but I love these guys, and I love our coaches. I love our program, our administration, our families, our parents, our community, everything about it. I don't think you would ever hear me say anything. There's no negatives about what we're doing. And, it shows on Fridays. It showed on Saturday. And just really proud of what's been built and what is continuing to be added on to at Carl Albert. So very, very special place.
All right, well, a couple of things, again, to put a bow on our time together here. First, just to tell people that this show, the Mid-Dale Sports Report, is going to carry on next semester. And the way it's going to look is we're going to take a Wednesday night to celebrate a particular high school of the three and whatever sports are in season for that. And Buffalo Wild Wings said they'll make it a fundraiser so people can show up. Yeah. So, Coach, even though we're done with football, you're more than welcome to come back on this Carl Albert nights.
Would love to.
We can talk Carl Albert sports with the coaches, players, of course, but also we'll hopefully fill the place and raise some funds for them.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you for looking back at this past season. You always came through.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably worried more about it than I should because it's the first time we're doing it.
Yeah.
But you always came through with, if either you were able to come or provide yourself as to do an interview on location, or provide players. So thank you very much, because I know you got a lot of other stuff going on. So we really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys, and these two guys right here, Jacoby and Ced, guys I got to coach back in the day over at Dell City that I've got a lot of respect for, and kids I really love, and the stuff that they do and stuff that you do, and OSN as a whole, Eric and the guys, I mean, everybody that's involved with it, Coach Norman, Kirk Norman, and Coach Goff that did our call all year long, and the time and the attention they put into it. I know it's exactly what you do with Midwest City, and man, I'm very appreciative of OSN and what you guys do, and you help us get that brand out there, and you help families that are across the country get to watch their kids and their family play, and I just think that's really, really cool deal. And so we really appreciate everything that you guys do for us as well.
Yes, absolutely. By the way, one more thing. You mentioned how you wish people would see what you guys do in the off season. So I will get Kaysen on it.
Kaysen will come over. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Tell Kaysen to come on.
Yeah, I'll tell him that.
Yeah.
All right, we want to thank Coach Dunn for being on with us. We'll let him find his spot to go eat. But we're going to go. I'm going to come to the players after this, the next segment, and interview some of them. So we're not done celebrating Carl Albert State titles. So stick around for that. You're watching the Middale Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Red Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
call Rob and Will.
All right, welcome back to the Middale Sports Report. We're now going to the players here that were able to make it. So I got two Carl Albert secondary players here with me. One is DeAndre Dukes. DeAndre, how you doing? How do you feel about your game? You're one of the starting cornerbacks. How do you feel about your game against the Eagles?
I feel like we had a great game. Go out there and get the win. Feel me? Yeah.
What happened to your hand there?
The semifinal game, I guess I had missed a tackle, and then he stepped on it or something, and it broke. I broke my thumb.
Well, you don't want to miss those tackles, but you made up for it. How do you feel about your season in general, for you especially, playing cornerback for him?
You know, I feel good, but I was out a couple games, had a lacerated kidney, then I came back better than ever.
Very good. What do you think was important for your secondary as a whole to be able to defend the pass effectively against Del City?
Stay disciplined, looking at hips. Don't get too looking to the quarterback and stay on your man.
All right, well, congratulations on your state championship.
Thank you.
Let's go to Tristan here. All right, Tristan, I definitely got to ask you about you matching up against LaDainian Fields. What was your mentality against him, and how good is he?
He was pretty good, you know. Coming into the game, I expected him to catch a couple passes, but, you know, for the most part, I was on him the whole game, so that's how I felt about it.
Is he the fastest player you played against this season?
Yeah, he was pretty fast. He was probably the fastest player I played this season.
On the other side of the ball, did he cover you when you were playing wideout?
Yes, sir. He covered me a lot, and we were running the ball a lot, so we didn't really run that many routes on him, so he was just out there guarding me.
Was there any talking back and forth?
At the beginning of the game, there was a little bit, but after that, there wasn't really nothing because we started winning the game. So,
you had an unbelievable season at wide receiver, but you still prefer defense, correct, to play at the next level?
Yes, sir.
Amazing, because you were so good. I think you developed this season a really good chemistry with Kevin Sperry, and how would you say that? What was key to that? Because you got a quarterback who can throw those type of passes. And you were able to make an impact catching the ball. What can you say about that?
I would say that what contributed to that the most would be just us getting more games and, you know, getting more reps. And as the season went along, our chemistry just got better. So that would be what I would say contributed the most.
What was your favorite play against Del City?
I would say the pass that I knocked down that they called a complete pass at first, because that would be my best defensive play because I knocked it out and it looked good on film. So I like that one the most.
I remember that play too. The ref said they reviewed it. It's not supposed to review it, but I think they meant they conferred. Okay, how do you feel about a three-peat?
I feel like our chances are good. You know, we just got to work in the offseason like we did this year, and we can run it back.
Are you still going to go visit some colleges?
Yes, sir. Throughout the winter and spring process, I'm going to go to a couple places.
Are you going to go to any bowl games?
I do not think so, because those are coming up right now. So, yeah.
So what's going to be your focus then? Besides, you're still going to deal with recruiting, and when you'll know, at some point we'll know. So, but you're obviously a very sought after player. But what else will be your focus next semester?
Next semester, I'm going to be doing track for our team, so that would be my focus next semester, and just getting better at football in my free time. So,
I think track fits you well. All right, Tristan, congratulations. You're going to have an outstanding career at Carl Albert, and it's a lot of fun to watch you play.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, let's follow me here. Who do we got? Okay, we got some offensive linemen I know here, and tell me which player are you?
Cody Volker, I play right tackle.
Okay, so you came. This is your first year at Carl Albert, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what did you like about it? What was this experience like, given that it's a new place, and what were some of the positives?
Just a lot better atmosphere. You know, just I like these guys. They're really welcomed me in. I mean, really all I can say about it.
And what position do you play on the offensive line?
Right tackle.
All right, so you get more and more playing time at right tackle. What was key to your success? What do you think that worked for you that allowed you to be in a position to play and to have the success you did?
Well, it helps that I got a left tackle, Tanner Norman, that helps me out a lot. He really gives me a lot of pointers and stuff. He's really been my big brother this whole time I've been here.
Very good. If Tanner talks, you got to listen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there are a lot of seniors on this offensive line, so you'll be one of the few returners. You ready for that? I think you're gonna have to be a pretty vocal leader with the new guys, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, well, congratulations, your first state title. So we're really happy for you, Cody.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe this is the kicker, right, Spiewak?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm Ethan Spiewak. I'm the kicker. Yeah.
Spiewak, okay. And then the other kicker is, what's his first name?
Caleb.
Caleb, all right. So do you guys ever have, Caleb Gonzalez, do you guys ever have any competition during practice?
Oh, yeah, every day. Playing horse, seeing who can kick it the furthest on kickoffs, just stuff like that. It's always a competition. Everything we do, we have fun with it, for sure.
Playing horse for kickers, that's something we got to get on video right there. So let's talk about this. What can you kind of say what goes into which one of you two will be the guy doing the kickoff?
You know, we rotate, keep our legs fresh, stuff like that. Kickoff's really hard on the leg. We can both do it really well. So, I mean, as long as we can both do it consistently, we'll keep rotating. So.
And then you also kick field goals. You've had a couple of good ones, including one against Guthrie and one against Piedmont. What would you say in a normal field of play, normal wind, your range is?
Normal wind, my max range would probably be about 50, 55. So.
That's pretty good. You feel good about maybe playing in college as a kicker?
Oh yeah, that's the goal. Just got to keep working in the off season. Keeping getting in the weight room, stuff like that, major stuff.
So I've been talking to other kickers here about them going to camps and stuff like that. Are you going to any camp for kickers?
Oh yeah, I've got a ton this off season. I actually got one this weekend in Dallas. But every camp there is, I try to go to it, stuff like that.
Okay, not too far away. All right. Well, I had one more question for you. I forgot, but anyway, congratulations! I know it's your second state title, and what can we expect for an encore from you?
With our whole snapper, holder, and kicker on field goals and stuff coming back, I hope we can just continue the thing, not missing field goals, stuff like that. Just, I don't know, just staying with the time, stuff like that.
All right, congratulations on a good season. Oh, I remember now. You were perfect on extra points, right, until the end of the beginning of this game, is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's pretty good. Were you a little upset with yourself that you missed that kick, or you guys were up by a lot, so it didn't really matter? What was your feeling?
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking, it's just another one, and I got a little bit just thought it was too easy and just messed it up, and it happens.
But do you keep track of your numbers? So what would you say your final extra point numbers are? Do you know them?
My final extra point numbers on the season, I don't quite remember. I think they're 60, 70. I don't remember, actually.
I would guess you guys scored about 70 touchdowns, something like that. So 70 out of 71. Nothing to complain about. Not even an NFL kicker can do that. All right, congratulations. All right, we got a couple of Eastons coming up here. So I'm going to walk past Cedric, our camera operator. Okay, Easton Perkins. Easton, congratulations. Talk about how you felt like you played in the Del City game.
I think I played pretty good. Me and Trey Holland had a lot of double teams that we really just hit them hard and got them out for the big holes. And we worked up the backers very well that game too.
You guys are very successful running the ball. What do you think was a key there, being able to be consistently running the ball?
Just be aggressive and just work on our steps and just be very fundamental with it.
How do you feel about your offensive line this season? It's a lot of seniors, but a very experienced group. What was it like playing with these guys?
Oh, it was awesome. We had such a good connection with everyone. It was just so much fun, and I hate losing. I wish I could do it again.
What do you have to look forward to next semester? You're going to play baseball, right?
Yes, sir. I'm going to play baseball.
Sorry. Do you keep track? Back to football. Sorry to keep jerking the microphone away from you too early. Do you keep track of your pancakes on the season?
We do. We have a pancake wall. And so I think I ended out with probably 68, 69 pancakes on the season.
Very good. All right. Well, congratulations on your second. Were you a starter last year? You were in the rotation, right? So it's your second state title, playing a lot, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Congratulations. Okay. Now I got another Easton. All the Eastons are leaving, by the way. So I don't know who will take up the role of Easton here, but Easton Collier. Easton, you play center? Is that correct?
I play right guard.
Right guard. Okay, my mistake. All right. How do you feel about how your season went?
I think it was a really good senior season. This was my third year starting now. I think it was a perfect way to end it. Got a lot better. Even since the start of the season, I improved, which is very good.
What was the most fun, let's say, during the game, the championship game against Del City? What was the most fun aspect of it for the game?
I think just the rivalry, that was a really fun thing to be a part of, both in district. I think it was special to be a part of that, and that was just fun to go play, go compete.
And how do you feel like you've progressed as a player, let's say, this year compared to last year?
I think I got a lot bigger in the weight room. Not too much because, it's only a year, but I think I got stronger, just finished a little more blocks. I think my pancakes went up by 10 on the season, which is a good improvement in my eyes.
And what did it mean to you not just first to play for Carl Albert football, but also with this group of guys? Because, again, a senior-led offensive line.
I mean, it's real special. Like, I've played with most of these guys 3 years starting now, and I'm going to miss it. It was really special playing with my friends and dominating.
All right, well, at what point will you and your dad go golfing?
When it gets a little warmer. It's a little cold now, but when it warms up, we'll hit it.
You never know. There could be some very warm days in December and January, so maybe we'll see you out in the links this winter.
Oh, for sure. I'll be out there.
All right, thank you very much, Easton. And that will do it for the Carl Albert celebration. Again, they've won 18 state titles. They've won, we have 7 out of 8. And they're going to bring back a lot of talent. They're going to lose a lot of good players, too. So we look forward to seeing what they'll do next year. This will be the final episode of the Mid-Dell Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network. I want to thank Cedric for holding our portable camera, which is also my cell phone. Jacoby, of course, for producing. Go show Jacoby here. Wave Jacoby to yourself there, okay? And then over there is Alicia. We appreciate her, a production assistant, just filling in for wherever we need her. We will be back on the air with this January 10th when we hope to go through some winter sports going from high school to high school. So we want to thank all the coaches and players from the fall and even some of the winter sports for helping us out. And next week, we will still have stuff on the Oklahoma Sports Network for Mid-Dell. So Tuesday, we're going to have basketball, Elgin at Carl Albert. Look forward to bringing you that game. And then Friday, that's December 12th, by the way, Friday, December 15th, we will have Del City at Midwest City, the first of 2 games that we're going to show with those teams. A lot to look forward to next week. We just will not have a coaches show. That will come back on January 10th. All right. Thanks again for watching. We're signing off. You've been watching the Mid-Dell Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.